So let's talk about one of our news stories today, which is Disney. They're
Yes.
holding back 20 plus
Yes.
4K remastered of Fox classics.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to release them anywhere.
Okay.
We don't even know what they are. We just
Did-
know that there are classics that
Mhm.
they have that
Mhm.
they're not going to release.
Mhm.
Not physical, not on demand, not streaming,
Mhm.
nowhere.
Yeah.
So just to remind you guys, Disney bought 24th Century Fox
Mhm.
in 2019
Mhm.
after buying Pixar in 2006,
Nice.
Marvel in 2009, and
Mhm.
Lucasfilm in 2012.
Mhm.
So they have a massive catalog under their
Mhm.
control.
Mhm.
Control being the trigger word here. Um, not to mention that physical media is dying out.
Mhm.
People are relying more and more on streaming. So here's where I'm torn about that. I love the idea of having DVDs and Blu-rays because there's so much more that you get. You get commentary, you get bonus features. There's things that you didn't, And one other thing I realized is that live streaming,
Mhm.
they edit, they remove things.
Mhm.
There's like a couple, I think there's one or two like controversial episodes of like The Office or Parks and Rec or something that they don't even show on TV.
Hmm.
And that concerned me because I'm like, oh my god, like it's art. It's art within its time. Unless they're literally putting up the sign and saying, hail somebody. Like I don't
Mhm.
understand.
I just don't understand why it stopped at CD and
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray or whatever. Like now we have all these other types of media, SD cards, compact flash cards, all these different kinds of ability to like store media, and none of these companies want to release media on like a little flash drive or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
or even come out with players that can accept flash drives, or
Yeah.
because you could have like a little booklet of movies and they could be actually branded each movie and stuff like that. And
Yeah. Well,
you could have so many, and it could have a bunch of different bonus features on it. And why does it have to
you're
be?
right.
Why did it stop at CD? And just because it all went digital, it just had to stop at CD and Blu-ray? Like,
Well,
I don't know.
I think that if they had
DVD for life. DVDs for life, yo.
BXNY, appreciate you.
Thank you.
So well, here's my issue. My issue was
Hmm.
space.
Yes.
That was the problem I had.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah.
So I like considering what we use to record our films and things that we're doing
Mm-hmm.
and how much fits on that drive.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they could have still found a way to put out media
Mm-hmm.
without it being this box that takes up so much space.
Yeah. And then it's so fragile. You can scratch a
Oh, my
DVD, you can
goodness.
scratch a CD.
Yeah.
They're like, here's this precious thing.
Well, I mean, okay, so
like,
Blu-rays, they may have been a little bit tougher than CDs.
nice.
They did.
Nice.
I mean, DVD. Sorry,
Yeah.
they did upgrade. I have to give props where props are due.
Mm-hmm.
They did upgrade.
Nice.
They did do that.
Okay.
So, there's that. But I don't know.
Hmm.
So right now, they, I don't know what they're doing. But Sony is supposed to be taking over their physical media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we might be able to get access to these 4K classics that we have no idea which ones they are.
Yeah.
But
they create drama to just put themselves in the news, so people are like, "Oh yeah, Disney exists."
well, we'll talk more about
20
that.
movies. There's a billion
It's
movies.
a 20 plus.
20 plus movie.
Which probably means 20 1.
They got about 23.
Because 20 plus
They got
sounds way better than 21.
yeah,
Because 20
four,
plus is like, oh my gosh, that could be
more
400
than
movies.
20. And then it's just like good for Disney.
Mm.
You know, like they got Marvel, they got Lucas, they got
Mm-hmm.
the Pixar. Pixar tried real hard to be Disney though, to look like not look like Disney, but like be that
Well,
animated.
that's because Disney bought them.
Hmm.
And then,
I think that's what they wanted.
yeah.
That's what Pixar wanted. I think.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, you
Mm.
would want Disney to buy you because they have the money, they have the capital, they have the
Mhm.
marketing, they have all of that,
Mhm.
and they had the animators who could help.
Mhm.
So, and for a while, it was a great working formula.
Yeah.
Until
But
they
then-
wanted to start.
Yeah, they're just like, oh yeah, we don't have to spend all this money. We can just make crap for people to, and they'll watch it. They'll sit down and they'll watch it. They love their stories.
It's not even us spending the money.
Yeah.
It's getting rid of the older creatives,
Mm-hmm.
bringing in a new class, which no
Mhm.
problem with that, but
Mm.
there was no passing of the torch.
Hmm.
There was no like learning of the best ways to tell story and
Yeah.
things like that. And like bringing in new ideas for sure, bring them in, but accompany that with like, hey, this is what works for us. Let's combine that with new fresh ideas.
Mm.
But you just got rid of them or quieted them and
Mhm.
only gave the new people coming in the voice who didn't have the experience. They hadn't been in the trenches, and surprisingly enough, we're getting weak stories.
Mhm.
So that's what I say about they yet. Oh, also, if you're a Disney Movie Club fan,
Mhm.
that's shutting down. So
Yar.
I think it's shutting down in July. So
Okay.
you have until May 20 to place your final orders before
Mhm.
it's gone. Sorry. I mean, it would be nice to do a live without having a story about Disney, but it's almost impossible when they
Yeah.
own this much IP. It's
Disney.
it's almost impossible when they own this much IP.
I mean,
We could have talked about Sony and Madam Web and that,
hmm.
but I haven't watched it. I also haven't heard anyone
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
say that they have liked it. The closest is I've heard a couple
Mhm.
people say it's so horribly bad. It entertain them with the campiness,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's what they were going for. I don't think so.
I don't know. Only thing I've been thinking about when I think about Sony is that they just came out with a mirrorless SLR
Mm.
camera that's a global shutter
Oh,
versus, every other camera that's, consumer prosumer basically is rolling shutter.
Mm.
Global shutter takes a picture of the entire sensor and it can do like 120 frames per second raw bursts. Like it's like doing slow motion, but it's taking an actual picture each,
Each time.
for photography. It can take 120 pictures a second.
Okay,
Like burst.
that's pretty impressive.
And it's taking global images, so there's no warping or anything like that.
Oh
Or
wow!
like when the baseball is hitting, like a baseball
Yeah.
bat is hitting it. There's no warping of the bat, or the golf club is swinging. There's no warping. Or when you're going by buildings and stuff like that, there's no warping and stuff like that. Or
Oh wow, that's
it's either
interesting.
60 frames per second or like 120 frames per second that it can shoot raw pictures, but it's unnecessarily fast. Or it's actually, it's probably necessary because everything it's doing also, it has one of the craziest autofocus systems out there right now. So everything's in focus.
So what? Okay, so what does that mean?
There's less banding. There's less like the flickering for LED lights. That you don't know what's
Okay.
going on in that area and
So
stuff like
okay, I'm glad you brought that up.
Hmm.
So, like, if you're filming, what I found, like filming slow motion or something inside of like a CVS
Mhm.
or something like that,
that. Yeah, you
it
get the flicker.
you get the flicker,
Mhm.
but you get that.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't get that with the global shutter.
Oh, okay.
That's what all the bigger cameras are. They're big, they're all
Yeah.
global shutter, so they can shoot in all these environments, and the light doesn't affect it.
Doesn't affect it. Okay. Well,
At the rolling shutter, it takes a line reading each time instead of a picture of the whole sensor.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Alright.
yeah, whenever I think of Sony, I'm just like they're killing it with the and they made a full cinema camera with a IBIS sensor with an in-body image stabilized sensor.
Which means
That means like you can shoot handheld. You don't need a gimbal and stuff like that. You have image stabilization in the body. So imagine pairing that with an image stabilization lens.
oh my goodness.
You get all these extra axes of stabilization. So they're doing crazy shit. Excuse my language.
With the cameras.
With the cameras.
Maybe that's why their movies are so.
Yeah, I guess, because they're like, they care more about
You
the cameras.
can't be good at everything.
Can't be good at everything. I mean, because they just use the cameras. But this is the thing. I feel even a Sony produced movie, sometimes they're using an Alexa or they're using a Red. Maybe.
They're not using their own cameras?
Maybe not for some stuff. Because like this is the thing. You want a certain look. The director, the cinematographer, they're going to choose a certain camera package.
Okay.
But
fair.
Unless you get hired by the producer to be like, hey, I work for Sony, you're using Sony, then the director is like can either say yes or no to that, so. I'm sure there's some cinematographers that are like, no, I like Ari or I like this.
Okay.
You never know.
Never know.